I wanted to move on to motivation because I saw an interesting thing on Twitter a couple of days ago where someone was talking about if they only worked out on days when they really felt up for it, they wouldn't work out that many times a year at all. And it got me thinking on the way here about how many sessions a week or a month I'm really amped for. And I reckon it's maybe, if I'm being generous, maybe once a week. I train 4 times, 5 times a week. Once a week I'm really up for it. The rest of the time I just have to get going and just grind it out. What's it like for you? Are you motivated for every single session and raring to go?
No, of course not. No.
So what percentage?
I have, an ongoing chronic health issue. So there's not a single day where I feel really good and healthy. Not a single day. There's not a single time at the moment where it's because of histamine and mold illness and things like that. It's very complicated. There's not a single time when I'm in the gym when I don't feel nauseous. But I do it. I do it because you know what? I feel better after having done it. It's not about knowing it's the right thing. We know certain things are the right things to do. I feel better having done it physically and mentally. So I just do it. Now for me, it's a habit. It's a habit, like cleaning my teeth. Every one of us should strive to make some form of exercise an unthinking habit. That's the key. How do you make it an unthinking habit? And it could be aqua aerobics or Olympic weightlifting. Doesn't matter what it is. Find a way. Find your thing. Find your thing.
And is it as simple as that? Is there something for everyone? And if you're not enjoying exercise or you've never really got bitten by the bug, do you think in your experience it's simply that you just haven't found the thing that just floats your boat?
Yes, 100%. The human bodies are designed to move. We get an endorphin high from exercise. Every single one of us, barring the outlier with illnesses and disabilities, every single one of us will feel better when we move our bodies. Who doesn't feel better? Stuck in the house. Right, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna get a walk in fresh air. And we'll feel better afterwards. So every single one of us will be better doing that.
You've touched on the mental health benefits there, and obviously with International Men's Day, mental health is such an important topic and finally being talked about more specifically from men. You obviously run a globe-spanning, huge business. How often are you feeling stress and anxiety and pressure? And obviously there's a lot going on in the world right now. There's not that much to be cheerful for. So how do you deal with that stress when it does crop up? Because I think a lot of people probably are struggling right now.
Yeah, I get a lot of stress. I can never switch off. So, yeah. And, I'm in a fortunate financial position and all that kind of stuff, but the last few years have been hellish, and I think going to continue to be so. So my goals, my hopes, my aspirations have not been hit because of what's happened with COVID. How do I deal with it? I was discussing this with somebody a couple of days ago. I'm very fortunate to have known a lot of elderly people from the time I was a little boy. When I was a little boy, my grandma looked after a sheltered accommodation that was full of people who must have been born late in the 19th century.
Okay.
And I knew them, and I spent time with them, and I spent time with my grandparents, and I'm of that generation where, both my grandfathers went off in the Second World War. One grandfather was a 19-year-old taken out of a little village. His father had spent the intervening years between First World War and the Second World War in hospital because of what he'd gone through in the First World War, and he only got out of the hospital to be an air raid warden. So I have that for context. So whenever I feel sorry for myself and go, oh, how hard could it be? Well, it could be a lot harder and a lot more difficult. This one part of my family that wouldn't have had much money. Post-war, wouldn't have had much money, lived hand to mouth, extremely working class. How can I complain about my position? The bottom line here is this. Nothing should give us sleepless nights unless it's terminal or criminal. Nothing. If it's terminal or criminal, pardon my language, but fuck it, right? You're going to get stressed about it. But otherwise, you can't let it disturb your night's sleep. And the way I handle this is, what I do is I play out the worst case scenario in my head. I play out the worst case scenario in my head, I decide what I'm going to do in that worst case scenario, and then I'm sorted. I figure it out. Okay, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to die. Okay, I'm going to survive.
I guess it's similar to that kind of 3-month rule, right? Am I going to be worried about this in 3 months? And if you're not, then it's something you can let go of now.
Yeah.
I'm still conscious there's going to be a lot of people watching this who maybe are feeling quite overwhelmed. I think obviously doing some kind of physical activity, as you mentioned, for the endorphins is a way of gaining perspective. I always feel better not only physically but mentally from doing some kind of exercise. Is there any other kind of relatively instantly applicable advice you would give for people who are struggling right now, apart from...
Well, you cannot divorce mental health from physical health. And you need to remember that. There's an inordinate number of studies out there showing that you improve physical health, you improve mental health. I think that there are lots of studies showing that basically exercise is better than most or all antidepressants. So if you are feeling down, there are always things that you can work on, and you work on your physical health. I mean, look, if I sit like this, and if I lean back in this chair and I sit like this, the way I feel, even right now, is different from when I do this. When I do this, things spark up. So if posture, we all know that posture, just laughing, forcing a fake laugh, ha 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 ha, right, makes you feel a little bit better, right? So get moving, get active. And again, it doesn't have to be, oh, Nick Mitchell says get moving. It's not for him, he's got all these gyms. I'm not saying you got to go to the gym and train like Prime Schwarzenegger. Just get moving in whatever way you can. Stretch. If all you can do is stretch, if you've got a chronic illness and you've got no energy, stretch. Put some yoga DVD, put some yoga on YouTube and just do something and you will feel so much better.
No, it's so true, and I think people do still look for some kind of, it's too simplistic, right? It's too simple, it can't work. There's tons of studies, 20 minutes walk outside in nature, in a green space, lowers all kinds of feelings of anxiety, increases productivity.
Yeah.
There's research there, right?
If anyone watching this now or watching it back has got problems with pre-diabetic, blood sugar issues, all that kind of stuff, one simple thing that works for lowering rapidly blood glucose levels, which is what's needed, right, in people that are pre-diabetic or diabetic. After you eat, go for a 10-minute walk. That's it. Go for a 10-minute walk. Oh, it's cold outside. All right. Walk around the house. I've only got a little flat. Sure, fine. Pace around the flat if you have to. It can be done. It can be done. We all have these self-imposed limitations. And the worst thing in the world is just to limit yourself. If you believe in yourself and you're prepared to work hard, you don't know what your ceiling is until you've tried. And I don't think many people have ever hit the ceiling. I don't think that many people have ever tried for long enough and hard enough to hit their ceiling. Every one of us, every single person that ever comes through my door can drastically improve themselves. They cannot all become supermodels. They cannot all become Mr. Olympia. They can't all become, like you, Joe, fitness magazine cover models, right? Best-selling cover models. They can't all do that. But boy, oh boy, everyone can improve beyond measure. So it's in your hands.
So, and I know you're never one to sit on the fence. So I know I'm going to get an honest answer with this. Is it more a lack of confidence that an individual has, or is it a lack of desire? Where do you think that needle is?
We're talking about men first. With women, it would be more likely to be lack of confidence. Women are more likely to have imposter syndrome. No, but ultimately it's a lack of desire. It's a lack of desire. At the end of the day, people go, oh, I don't have the discipline. Piss off. No, I don't have the discipline. It's not about discipline. Here's the donut, here's the pizza, here's the pint of beer, here is the Netflix movie, here is the chicken and broccoli, here is the bowl of porridge, here is the going for a walk. You want this more than you want that. Stop fooling yourself. Simple. You want this more than you want that.
And that's it. And once people can have that honest conversation with themselves, I guess that's where the excuses fall down. And then you decide whether or not you want to take action. Yeah.